The light of the sun came through the curtains to their faces. Jungkook stirred first, his eyes falling on Vine still laying in his arms. Her peaceful expression brought a smile to his lips, and he gently brushed a kiss across her forehead. Feeling his touch, Vine slowly opened her eyes, blinking against the morning light. Jungkook, good morning, love, he murmured, his voice husky with sleep. His fingers traced down her arm. Jungkook, did you sleep well? Vine nodded and asked, you? Jungkook, with you in my arms, always. He leaned in to kiss her, a slow, lingering kiss that spoke of the depth of his feelings. As their kiss deepened, he slid his hands under her shirt, feeling her bare waist. Vine's breath hitched as his touch ignited a fire within her. She pulled back slightly, her eyes dark with desire. Jungkook, she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. Yes, he replied, but she didn't say anything. She pushed him back a little, but Jungkook gently lifted her, shifting their positions so that he was above her. He trailed kisses down her neck, his hands moving to the hem of her shirt. Jungkook stopped. She hesitated when he slowly started taking off her clothes one by one, his eyes never leaving hers. Vine's breath quickened, his touch sending shivers down her spine. Happy anniversary, Vine, Jungkook said, his hand caressing her cheek. Vine replied with a weak smile, and after kissing her once again, he sat up on the bed. Jungkook sighed. I'd love to keep this warm sensation going, but this is more important as well. Get ready fast. Vine. Why? Are we going somewhere? Jungkook looked at her with narrowed eyes. I told you that my parents invited us for our wedding anniversary. You don't remember? Jungkook and Vine were arranged married by their parents, but Jungkook started liking her after marriage. They have these sessions almost every day, and Vine is also adhering herself in the mansion. She never liked him before marriage, but she respects him now for how he treats her. He knows how to respect a woman, especially if it is his wife. Vine started liking him as well, but she is not sure of her feelings, even though she relies on him a lot of the times and thinks of him as the first person when she is in trouble. Today is their first anniversary, and Jungkook's parents invited them and a few other family members for celebration. Vine. Oh yeah, I remembered. I prepared everything last night. Jungkook shook his head and got up, walking towards the bathroom, while Vine went downstairs to make some preparations. Vine and Jungkook entered, realizing that they were late. Jungkook's parents immediately came to greet them. The guest of honors are themselves late, Jungkook's mother said to them. Vine. Really sorry. We couldn't keep track of the time. Let's go now. Jungkook's mother took with her, while Jungkook went to meet his family members and again talk business with them, even on his anniversary. Vine was sitting on one of the tables, getting bored because she didn't have any friends in his family. She sighed and looked around. Suddenly, she got up to go to the washroom after excusing herself from her mother-in-law. Vine sighed as she looked at herself in the mirror. The family gathering was grand and lively, but she felt like an outsider, unable to connect with anyone. She washed her hands and rubbed a hand between her hair, looking at herself in the mirror. As she turned to leave the washroom, she heard the door creak open. A man she didn't recognize stepped in, his eyes narrowing as they locked onto her. The way he moved, the way he looked at her. She knew he wasn't in the ladies' room by mistake. She took a step back, her heart rate quickening. Hey there, he said, his voice dripping with alcohol. Why are you hiding here all alone? I was just leaving, Vine replied, her voice trembling slightly. She tried to go past him, but he blocked her path. Not so soon, he said and leaned in on her. Why don't we get to know each other a little better? Panic surged through her, and she backed away until she hit the corner. Who are you? You know I'm Jungkook's wife. He won't let you go if. Vine screamed when that man punched the wall forcefully as soon as he heard Jungkook's name. The man fake smiled. Jungkook, 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 he said angrily and held her wrist with full force, making it hurt. Vine started screaming. Leave me. Someone help me, please. Jungkook. The man put a hand on her mouth to stop her from screaming, but it was too late. Her scream was already heard by everyone outside. The man slapped her hardly, making her fall down on the floor. You're not getting away from me easily after doing this, he said and came upon her, trying to kiss her neck. No matter how much she tried to resist, she couldn't stop him. As soon as his lips reached to the claws of her neck, he was kicked on his ribs, so hard that his ribs might be broken, and he fell on the floor with his head hitting the wall. Vine screamed and immediately got up, even though she was trembling, and hugged Jungkook as soon and tight as she could. He side hugged her, putting his hand on her head. Get your hands off my wife, Jungkook roared, his voice echoing off the walls. The man barely had time to react before Jungkook lunged at him. Jungkook tightened his fist forcefully and hit the man once. The man's face was already red. He cried out in pain, but Jungkook didn't stop. He punched him once again, and then again. Jungkook continued, landing blow after blow, while Vine couldn't do anything or even watch it. She was frozen at her place, unable to say anything. Jungkook kept going until the man was on the ground, groaning in agony. Jungkook grabbed him by the collar, lifting him slightly off the floor. If you ever touch her again, I will make sure you don't stay alive, Jungkook growled, his voice low and dangerous. The man nodded shakily, his face a bloody mess. Jungkook released him, and he scrambled to his feet, running from the washroom as fast as he could. Jungkook turned to Vine, his expression softening as he saw the fear in her eyes and her trembling figure. He pulled her into his arms, holding her slightly. Are you okay? He whispered, his voice filled with concern. Vine nodded, tears streaming down her face. I am now, thanks to you. Jungkook kissed the top of her head, his anger slowly dissipating. No one will ever hurt you while I'm here. I promise, he said with a soft voice to make her calm down and realize that he is always there for her. She hugged him more tightly, and he said to her, I'm sorry that it happened because of me. The man who was trying to get close to her was Jungkook's biggest rival in the family, and he was so jealous of Jungkook's success after success that he wanted to steal everything from Jungkook, from his wife to his life. But Vine became his prey because she was Jungkook's wife. Vine, it's not your fault. Thank you so much. You're always helping me. Jungkook, let's go from here and have some rest. Vine nodded once in his embrace, wiping her tears before going out, while everyone outside the washroom was waiting for them, tensely, as Jungkook told them that he will handle it himself. As they went outside, Jungkook looked at his mother and said, I'm sorry, but we will have to leave. We will cut the cake some other day. Of course, get some rest. Don't worry about it here, his mother said after looking at Vine, who smiled and left with Jungkook. As they sat in the car, it was already quiet before Jungkook asked her, "You're sure you're okay?" "I am," Vine replied, offering him a small smile. "It was just scary, but I know you will always be there for me." Jungkook reached out, taking her free hand in his. "Always. I can't stand the thought of anyone hurting you. You mean everything to me." He squeezed her hand and pulled her into a deep kiss with him, the one that Vine didn't refuse this time.